Shalom. Kol Haloyamla, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachal Kodash. Barakta Yahweh, Barakta Yahweh Shai, Barakta Rachal Kodash, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachal Kodash. Shalom and double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elders in the Akim and the Aqua, to the hopeful elect. Shalom. Just want to go into a quick video entitled, it's basically the same title as the YouTube video here. China issues a grim warning for possible World War III. And this warning that China is issuing is to its ally partner, its head, which is Russia, aka Gog and Magog, spoken of in Ezekiel 38. And it was funny because they're all going to shoot, missiles upon what Babylon the Great, America and China is all in with Russia to do so, Gog and Magog. But even Russia, they're moving too fast even for China, because they're telling them to slow down a little bit, because Russia's sending thermonuclear missiles to Belarus for this, to continue to combat this Ukrainian war. And this is and it's really basically World War III in the lower stages, in the early, less serious stages, but it's amplifying and picking up. And the reason why Russia's moving even faster, than even its allies was expecting is this right here. We're going to start here at Matthew 24 and 22. It says, and except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Because also in Malachi 3 and 6, the Most High says what? It says, I am the Lord, I change not. I'm roughly paraphrasing. He said, I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. So, it's the Most High is going to preserve Jacob, the Israelites, so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, right? But in the last days, it's going to be the elect. And we just read here in Matthew 24 and 22. For the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. And what does that mean? That shortening means what? The Most High is going to hasten that day. He's going to shorten the days. He's going to speed things up. And that's why Russia is going so much faster. It's going fast, a lot faster than even, its ally China was expecting and wanting Russia to do. Because they're giving a grim warning to Russia that, it's going to escalate to World War III. But, it's nothing that they can do, because this is the Most High's movie, and he told us that he's going to hasten the day, and he's going to shorten the days because of who the elect say, because we see everything happening around society, right? The beast is enclosing more and more with this new digital economy that's about to become mandated, right? And so that's why the Most High is hastening it and shortening the days even more so. And myself, along with the other hopeful elect brothers, we've been praying that the Most High can even speed it up even more. And today is April 4th, 2023. And this video is from 2 days ago, April 2nd, 2023. So, this video is coming on the heels now. We've been praying that the Most High can even speed it up even more so. And so we believe the Most High is, answering our prayers to hurry up and speed this up so we can get delivered on those so-called UFOs, which are the chariots, to save us and take us back home to Jerusalem with the Messiah, Yahweh, right? So without further ado, we'll go ahead and listen to this video, grab some precepts, and close out.
Well, on the subject of China, it's issued a grim warning for a possible World War III following Russia's announcement to deploy nuclear weapons in Belarus. To discuss, we're joined by Malcolm Davis, Senior Analyst at the Australian Strategic Policy Institute in Canberra. Malcolm, good morning to you. It's a dire warning on a Monday morning, isn't it? Just how real is the threat?
Look, I think it is a concern. We're in the most dangerous period in really human history since the end of the Cold War, with the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and Moscow keeps on rattling their nuclear sabers, so they seem to be content to drive up the tensions, and the risk is that at some point Putin, in facing defeat in Ukraine, could actually think about using them. So I think The Chinese warning is directed mainly at Moscow, basically saying to Putin, don't even try and think about it.
So what happens if Russia continues down the path, though?
Well, look, I think NATO has to do two things here. Firstly, we cannot allow Russia to win in Ukraine, so we have to continue to assist Ukraine militarily and ensure that they win a decisive victory over Russia. And secondly, at the same time, we have to enhance and increase deterrence against Moscow from using nuclear weapons. It's threading that strategic needle of between victory for Ukraine and avoiding nuclear war that is the real challenge. Because the real danger is that if Putin is facing defeat, that he could think about using nuclear weapons. So we have to do everything we can to prevent that from happening.
Is it also, I mean, it's interesting after all the hand-holding that we saw between Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping during the Moscow visit, that this would have happened since then. Is it perhaps that China's seeing what's happened to Russia and how the world's playing out?
Look, I think Putin deciding to send nuclear weapons to Belarus is probably not what Xi Jinping had in mind when he went to Moscow. It's a very escalatory step on the part of the Russians. It serves no tactical purpose. The Russians can deliver nuclear weapons against Ukraine or against NATO from Russia. So there's no need to deploy these weapons from a military sense. But what it does is it just ramps up the tension. It ramps up the uncertainty about Russia's ultimate intentions here, particularly if they do look like they're going to lose in Ukraine. And so I think Xi is doing the right thing here by adding to the warnings from the West to Putin saying, don't even think about using nuclear weapons in Ukraine.
We've had Dan Andrews go to China, I think Anastasia as well, WA Premier, now looking to go over and press the flesh in China. Is that at odds with the rising conflict?
My personal opinion on Daniel Andrews was that he shouldn't have done it. And when he did it, he should have taken the media with him. But look, I think that we have to be extremely cautious about engaging the Chinese at the moment. Their grand strategic ambitions haven't changed in terms of their desire to impose unification on Taiwan, probably sometime later this decade. That could generate a major conflict between China and the United States that could potentially bring Australia in as well.
Hard not to engage,
I think that
though.
it's really unwise.
Hard not to engage, though, isn't it?
What was that?
Isn't it hard not to engage with your biggest trading partner?
Yeah, look, you have to engage. You have to engage cautiously and you have to engage open-eyed. So we shouldn't go into negotiations with the Chinese assuming that somehow there's a reset back to the early days of 2014, 2015 when relations were better. I think we are facing a totally different situation now and we have to be much more cautious in any engagement.
Good to talk to you, Malcolm. Thanks so much.
Okay, there you have it. So, the Most High is ramping this thing up fast because, it's almost time to get up out of here. And really pretty much time in the elect is probably already sealed. So, I just want to touch on a couple of quotes from the one guy that was talking in the screen. He says, it's the most dangerous period in human history. It sure is, for Esau and their society and all the heathen that's currently ruling over the Israelites, because it's the most dangerous period in their history, because once they go down, then it's going to be no more heathen rulership, but the kingdom of heaven forever and ever. So we'll get first Revelation chapter 8 and verse 13. It says, and I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, as through the sky, saying with a loud voice, Woe, 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 to the inhabitants of the earth, by reason of the other voices of the trumpet of the three angels, which are yet to sound. So these woes it means destruction. And what's destruction? World war destruction. So that's three woes. So World War 1, 2, and 3. And so going to Revelation 11 and 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. And so that's very interesting wording, the way it's worded, right? It says 2 woes are already past. And why is that? Because in the Valley of Dry Bones, the Israelites, so-called Blacks, Latinos, Native Americans here in Babylon the Great America, when we awaken back to our true identity, see, because in verse 11, it speaks about after 3.5 days, that's 350 years from 1619 when slavery started for the Israelites, well, for the Southern Kingdom, because the Northern Kingdom was already being destroyed by Esau, the so-called Latinos and Native American Indians. But the clock started at around 1619, so 350 years from 1619 to 1969. It's 350 years, and that's when the truth exploded back into the earth. And so around that time, 1969, 1970, what happened already? 2 woes are already passed. And that's what? World War I and World War II. That happened about what? About 40, 50 years before that, around in 19, what? I can't remember what year the First World War had taken place, and then the Second World War around in the 30s or 40s, right? I can't remember the dates, but the point is that 2 woes had already passed. And when we awaken back to the truth in 1969, 1970 until now, the 3rd woe cometh quickly. So these scriptures were written for the elect in the last days, as we are part of the hopeful elect. So 2 woes are past, and 1 woe, the 3rd woe cometh quickly. Because we, World War I and II already, was done. And when we come into the truth, 2 woes are past, and now that 3rd woe is, is impending and coming fast. So just to give, touch on that. So going to Revelation 22 and 12, because the Most High is quickly wrapping it up. He's speeding it up even more. Revelation 22 and 12, and behold, I come quickly. This is the Lord Yahweh speaking. It's in red. And my reward is with me, to give every man according as his work shall be. So we know that's going to be salvation for the elect and judgment for the 2/3 and the rest of the heathen as well. Isaiah 13 and verse 9. Let me see. Behold, the day of the Lord Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh cometh, cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger. So that's why the Most High say, woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. What end is it for you? Because because the day of the Lord is gonna come, and it's gonna be cruel and wrath and fierce anger. And why it says to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. So why are the sinners getting destroyed out? Because of wickedness. And because, like I made one of my last videos, I said Christianity, hey Christianity, the Most High hates the sinner as well. So Ecclesiasticus, let me see, is that? Yeah, 40 and verse 10. These things are created for the wicked, and for their sakes came the flood. So for wicked sinners, if the Most High wiped them away with the flood in the days of Noah, the first time, then the next flood, then these judgments, the thermonuclear missiles in World War III, and the famines and the Armageddon and apocalyptic times coming, is for the wicked. Even though the elect is going to have to, suffer through a bit, they're going to still be provided for and protected and fed and going to have water. But this is all for the wicked, and leading up to the deliverance and salvation, the return of the Messiah and the deliverance for the elect. So the elect have nothing to worry about. Just keep the faith and stay strong. So Isaiah 9 and 5, because this is what this third world war is going to consist of this time. It's going to be different from any other time, and it's the worst time, the most dangerous time, as he said. What would he say? He said the most dangerous period in human history, because these thermonuclear missiles is a destruction never before seen. Isaiah 9 and 5, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise, and garments rolled in blood, because they fought ancient wars and with swords and shields on a battlefield, hand-to-hand combat, and garments rolled in blood because men was getting stabbed up and dying and chopped and sliced. But this world in World War III, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. So that's going to be the thermonuclear missiles, raining down from the heavens when they get shot into the air. So that's what's coming. And Putin, the Most High put the spirit on Putin, and that's Moscow, putting a spirit on him to speed it up even more, because the Most High is directly directing, and guiding Gog and Magog, which is Russia, Moscow, to speed it up, because they're the main antagonists in the story to bring in the thermonuclear destruction and to destroy Babylon. Let's see, Amos 9 and 8. Behold, the eyes of the Lord Yahweh, the Most High Power, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, are upon the sinful kingdom, and that's chiefly Babylon the Great, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. So, as we just read in what Ecclesiasticus 40 and 10, that these things are created for the wicked, and then the Most High is he's letting them know, letting us know that, and comforting us with the words that he's going to destroy this place, but it's going to be because of the sins of the people, and not just destroying everybody. But he won't utterly destroy the house of Israel, because that utterly means what? Israel will be destroyed in thermonuclear destruction as well, but a remnant, which is a small fraction of the Israelites, will not be destroyed, and that's the elect of the Israelites. So and the other guy, and that guy said, he said also, Moscow is content with driving up the tensions. So those tensions being these actions, sending those nuclear missiles to Belarus. And so what that's doing is just putting everyone on edge, and the tension is ratcheting up, and is leading up more and more. It's about to come to a head where the missiles will fly at some point, but this is all the Most High. And it shows you it's a controlled, it's a slow build up, but it's speeding up. And it's because there's a orchestrator of it all. It's the Most High Yahweh that's orchestrating everything. Because if it was just any random man doing it, a missile or two would have been shot off already, right? But it's the Most High doing it in a timely manner, according to prophecies having to still unfold of the mark of the beast and the famines and the apocalyptic times, and then those missiles is going to be the final act to finish everything off after that trial period for the elect. So so Moscow is content with driving up the tension. So we'll go to Isaiah 13 and verse 17. See, and they already know, the biblical scholars that compile to be studying these scriptures. They understand to a degree, but they don't understand everything. Because the Spirit, the Most High sends His Holy Spirit unto the Israelites to get the true, deepest understanding of the Holy Scriptures, the spiritual understanding, through Yahushua. So Babylon will fall to the Medes. It's the title right there in verse 17, and the Medes are the Russians. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. So we know the Medes or the Russians. They're not delighting because they're cut off from the economy of and the deals, with the sanctions and everything that happened from Babylon, America, until Russia. Russia's not worried about America's sanctions and their money anymore, because they got a deal struck up with China, and I believe with Saudi Arabia even is about to link up with Russia and China and Persia, and so they about to form their own economy, and their digital economy, so they're not regarding the silver and the Most High is stirring up the Russians, the Medes, the modern day Medes, to go ahead, and speeding it up to go ahead, because this place is done. The scriptures say her hurtful works are accomplished or fulfilled, because sin is accomplished here. It can't get much worse now, because people are transformers, right, from one gender to another gender, and transhumanism from flesh and merging flesh with metal, with machine and robot, right? And so, and then they're trying to legalize pedophilia and all of that stuff. So, wickedness is as there's nothing else that can be done now. So sin and wickedness has reached its most degenerate, filthy state, and now it's time to wipe it clean with the besom of destruction, which is that sweeping thermonuclear fire. Ezekiel 38 and verse 3, and say, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, the Most High Power, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. See, the Most High is stirring up the Medes, which is Gog and Magog, but the Most High is against them, though. At the same time, he's just stirring them up to just finish, to accomplish what it is that he has set out to destroy Babylon. But after that, he's going to wipe them out too. In their armies, when Yahushua is going to wipe out the armies of Gog and Magog, which is Russia, China, Persia, and all of its allies, after they take out Babylon the Great America. But so this is the Most High stirring up Russia and putting a speed and making Putin hurry up. Verse 4, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and turn them back from what? Because they was going after the Western ways, and now they're not regarding it anymore, their silver or gold anymore, right? Because Russia going back to that old Soviet Union, USSR, Cold War spirit, and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth. So he's going to put that Cold War spirit on them, and then bring them forward to the battle for World War III, the third woe. And all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. So it's going to be, this is the great artillery of the Russians and all of its allies, and those Satan thermonuclear missiles. So the destruction is going to come, right? And so, that's why we're watching and praying and hoping that we're accounted worthy to escape these judgments that's about to come, that we can be a part of the elect that won't be utterly destroyed by the missiles in the Third World War, right? So I just want to go into that video. I hope this video was edifying. The water to the Rahak Wadash from the video. To the next video I say, Shalom.